Hello, welcome back to Armchair Armory, and it finished at the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal 1, Crystal Palace 0. Very, very, very similar to the post-European game against Fulham. I think that's right. Did we play? Oh, well, after the international break. I apologize. So it's very similar to that, although I feel like Palace were much better than Fulham overall. So there's probably more of an argument to say that they may have deserved something out of the game more than Fulham did. I think Fulham only had like a good 30, 35-minute spell in the first half. And I think after that, we sort of did just about enough to win the game. But again, there'll be the usual people complaining about the fact that we won a game with a set piece, this time coming from a Declan Rice free kick that was headed back out by Gabriel, and then a sort of crane kick style shot from Ebere Eze against his old club to make it 1-0, which turned out to be the winning goal. On top of that, other results this weekend so far: Liverpool losing yesterday evening 3-2 to Brentford. And then Manchester City lost earlier on today as well. They lost 1-0 to Aston Villa. Chelsea lost to Sunderland with a last-minute goal 2-1 at Stamford Bridge yesterday. So now we've got the top four of Arsenal, 4 points clear of Bournemouth, who I think are in second. And then we've got Sunderland in third. And I believe, let me have a look. So Arsenal, so Man City in fourth with Manchester United behind in fifth, and they did well to win that game. Man United, I watched that. There was a bit of a scare, even though they were 3-0 up. They conceded 2 goals very late on. I think I'll stand by what I said with Man United, that I think Ruben Amorim will probably do well there. I think if he's given the time and he's given the chance to, I think he will do well there. But anyway, back to Arsenal. Definitely another caveman win. I do think over the 90 minutes, again, we were probably slightly the better team. I felt like Palace defended really, really well, which is, again, a similarity to Fulham a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, like we've managed to navigate. And, last season, if you remember, last season at the Emirates, we were 2-0 up and we gave away a 2-0 lead against them. I believe that's right. I think that's what happened last season. That happened with, I think that happened with us. That happened with Aston Villa as well, didn't it? So, yeah, 1-0 wins in a row. It wasn't the prettiest of performance if you compare it to midweek against Atletico Madrid. Absolutely, particularly second half battering Atletico Madrid 4-0. It was never going to be that same sort of game. It was never going to be a lot. I didn't expect it to be a quick one because Palace are a decent side, similar to Fulham. Palace are a decent side. I knew they'd come and give us a game, which they did. It's just today they didn't really have their shooting boots on. And as I say, on average, we were probably the better team overall. It's just lucky we have that sort of slight secret weapon up our sleeve of scoring from these set pieces or scoring from set piece moments. But yeah, I mean, the players that sort of stood out for me today, one thing I should mention is Declan Rice went off injured before the end of the game, replaced by Mikel Merino. We'll see what comes out of that. I haven't read anything yet to suggest what was wrong with him or what happened. Saliba went off at halftime and was replaced by Christian Mosquera, who actually played really well. I thought Zubimendi, who I think that has sort of gone on under the radar a little bit since he's come in. I will admit that he does misplace passes quite a lot, but I think in terms of what we expected him to be, which was an upgrade on Partey, I think he's definitely been that because he kind of goes below the radar and I think he's a very big contribution as to why we've kept so many clean sheets so far this season. I feel like he's just been working in the background. He doesn't really get the same plaudits as a Declan Rice, for example. I feel like we've landed on a winner there. I think yes, as I say, he does misplace passes quite a lot, and he does sort of do tackles to nowhere. But I think Partey used to do that, you know. Um, so yeah, I thought he was good today. I thought Timber was absolutely outstanding today. Like, I think he's been one of our best players this season, along with Zubamendi. I think he's been one of our best players this season. Timber. Despite the fact Gyökeres didn't score in this game, I actually thought he played well. I actually thought he was doing some decent runs into the box today. The thing that lets him down, which I've noticed since he's joined, or since I've seen him in competitive games, is that his first touch lets him down. If the ball comes into feet, his first touch quite often lets him down. And I think that means that he's still a little bit behind everyone else in terms of sharpness. So yeah, I actually worked out. I think this is right. If he'd scored today, he would have scored in half of his appearances so far. I think that's right. I'm not 100% certain, but I think that's right. So yeah, all in all, the main thing you've got to be happy about, even though, you know, it wasn't a blistering performance that I can imagine a lot of fans were expecting, it's just about the win. And that's all we have to keep doing. We have to win more games than we're drawing and losing if we want to win this league. You know, I'm not going to sit here and because I said at the start of the league, at start of the season, I don't think we're going to win the league because of the unprecedented summer that Liverpool had in the transfer window. I'm even more worried now because the mainstream sports media are now calling us the favourites because of how many games Liverpool have lost in the league so far. This is now their fourth game that they've lost. I'm very worried to sit here and say that we're the favourites because I think at any time all it takes is like another big injury and we're, you know, again down to the bare bones. Yes, we have a better squad this season, but I still think that like if we lost an Eze or, you know, Saka as well as Madueke, for example, or Eze as well, as I said, Eze instead of as well as Erdegaard, or if we lost Gyökeres or something like that before Havertz or Gabriel Jesus came back in, I think that would be at detriment to the team because then we lose those options, you know, going into the rest of the season. So I'm not going to sit here and say that like I would agree that we're the favourites. I think we're probably the most consistent at the moment of the sort of top teams. I think we're probably the most consistent because, you know, we've only lost one game this season so far. So it's obvious that we're doing well in that sense. We're unbeaten in the Champions League. We'll see how we get on Wednesday with Brighton in the Carabao Cup. Hopefully that's a trophy we can win this season. But yeah, I'm not going to sit here and say that we're favourites, but I felt at the start of the season, from what I saw with the Man United game up until now, is that there's been a bit of a slow burn. I feel like we're getting better. I don't think like we're there yet, but I feel like we're getting better. We're a lot better at managing games now than we used to be. And to be fair, that sort of started last season, although, you know, we were better at managing more games than others. I feel like we're better at managing games. I think Arteta has gotten better at, particularly in the last couple of games, he's gotten better at managing the squad. And I feel like he's become less pragmatic, particularly since the Man City game. I feel like he's become less pragmatic with his substitutions and his tactics. In general, obviously, we've definitely got better defensively. I think this game is clear to see that it's a progress marker from last season. Because as I said, yes, we beat them at Selhurst Park twice, once in the Carabao Cup and once in the league, but we also lost to them. We drew with them at the Emirates towards the end of last season when we were just drawing bare games. I've now got to look at what that was. Yeah, we were 2-1 up, and then Mateta chipped Raya in the 82nd minute. It was Villa at home where we were 2-0 up, and we gave away that 2-0 lead, and Villa ended up getting a point. So yeah, at the end of the day, like that's all you can be happy for. Like I'm at the stage now where I'm sort of like I don't really care if we don't perform well as long as we don't win, because unlike a lot of modern football fans now, they seem to care more about the performance than they do the actual like 3 points or the win. It's like if you win 1-0 but you do it ugly, it's like I'm not celebrating that. I'm not celebrating winning 4-0, but then winning 1-0. But then with a game like Tuesday where we beat Atletico 4-0 and they're creaming in their pants over it, um, yeah, I'm celebrating the fact that we've won the game. I'm celebrating the fact that, like, yeah, we people are behaving like teams have never done this before. If you look at Chelsea, particularly in Jose Mourinho's second run, like this is how they used to play. Not necessarily from a set piece, but they defend. That's why the whole nickname about the Chelsea Bus Company. That's why that where that came from. Of they would park every man behind the ball, and they get one break, and because they had a player like Didier Drogba or Diego Costa, I think was Diego Costa there when Mourinho? No, he wasn't. Yeah, Didier Drogba. They had players that could score goals or could catch you on the break. That they very often would win games 1-0. There were times I remember Man United used to do that in their pomp under Sir Alex Ferguson. So it's not unusual. I just think the modern football fans seems to think that you have to win if you're a quote unquote top team, you have to win every game 4-0, and you have to make your your opponents look like a Sunday league team, which, that's a wider psychological issue. I think that just ties into instant gratification and stuff like that. The fact that like people expect to be showered with positivity all the time and expect nice things all the time, which in reality doesn't exist. But yeah, I'm happy we've got the win. We move forward. We go on to Brighton on Wednesday, I think. I think I did say that, didn't I? I think it's Brighton next. Yeah, Wednesday. So we play Brighton next on Wednesday in the Carabao Cup 4th round. I'd be pissed off if we throw this one away, because I actually think this is a trophy we can win. I genuinely think this is a trophy. If we manage to not drop our shopping like we did against Newcastle last season, if we manage to get to the semi-final, or if we get a good draw that gets us to the semi-final, and we get a good draw in the semi-final, I think it's a tournament we can definitely win. And I think we should be aiming to win. And I think with the squad we've got now, we should be aiming to win. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. And then it's Burnley on Saturday, which I won't be doing any content. Well, to be fair, I don't think I'll be doing any content for the Brighton game either, apart from when I say any content, I mean where I'm talking to you guys on camera. There'll probably be a couple of Just the Sims coming out for the Brighton game and for Burnley. But yeah, we move on to that. And then, yeah, when it comes to Burnley on Saturday, we've just got to win. We've just got to, keep the momentum going. We've just seen them beat their relegation rivals, Wolves, 3-2. They got a last-minute goal from what I saw. Yeah, I think this is another thing that I've noticed about football and social media, or sport and social media, trying to create narratives that people will talk about on social media, that we're going too far with our opinions too early. And when I say something like that, so I'm hearing like on Sky, when it showed the clip of Burnley scoring the winner, it's like, oh, this is like a massive goal, blah blah blah, and it's like, but it's not even November yet. Like they're not going to. Well, you never know, but like they're not going to get relegated today. Like if it was April or March, then maybe, but they're not going to get relegated today. Wolves, on the other hand, look like they are going down 2 points from 9. Can't see them turning that around anytime soon. But anyway, it's something else that's sort of bugbear of mine, that like I noticed it literally on the first day of the season when all the fixtures were done, and you've got the pundits on Sky Sports and Dave Jones and all them and Kelly Cates and all that talking like the season's over after one season, one game, we're talking too much in absolutes too soon. Like we don't know. If we get to January and the table is pretty much how it is now, I can't really see Sunderland and Bournemouth staying in the top four, but you never know. Leicester won the league. Yeah, then you can start saying, oh, it's sort of taking shape, but not 8, 9 games in. You can't sit there saying, oh yeah, definitely Arsenal are the favourites or Liverpool are the favourites or whatever. Like you won't know until you get to that sort of like January, February, March, the start of the run-in, before you know where it's going to go. But we'll see. If we do somehow manage to pull it off this season, it will be totally against what I expected or totally against what I thought might happen this season. So I'm just taking every game by game at this moment in time, and we'll just have to see where we go. Right. I think the next time you will see me on camera will probably be for a preview for the Slavia Prague game on the 4th of November. So it'll probably come out on Monday the 3rd. If not, then yeah, it might be it might be the reaction to the Slavia Prague game on the Tuesday. But yeah, it will be around that Champions League game. Right. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I will see you soon. As always, take care and stay safe.
Remember to like and subscribe, and also follow Dan on social media. All the information is in the description below.